God damn. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Can't believe this shit. This is crazy. What's going on, peeps? You guys know what I want to talk about. You read the title, you guys know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the recent passing of the legendary, late, great Craig Mack of Bad Boy Records. He passed away back on Monday. I'm assuming like Monday night or Monday morning. In the wee hours of the morning, he passed away. He died of congestive heart failure natural causes. Man, this is crazy, man. Wow. 46 years old, man. 46. That is crazy. Also, some of y'all news outlets, y'all need to get his information correct. He did not die at the age of 47. He died at the age of 46. There is no way you could be born in May 12th and then you die on March 12th or May 10th. I think he was born. I forgot the date, the actual date. He was born on May 10th or 12th of 1970, and you died March 12th of 2018 and be 47. That math don't add up. Y'all need to get your shit together. But if it was anybody else, y'all make sure you get that shit correct. But because it's Craig Mack, it's like, oh yeah, he's a 90s rapper, whatever. And that's the ignorance that I have. That's the ignorance that I hate about the media, man. Especially when it comes to hip hop artists. But you guys should know who Craig Mack is. For those who don't know, at one point, well, he's from Long Island, Brentwood, Long Island, home of EPMD. He used to roll with EPMD at one point. He was their roadie. He was affiliated with EPMD. He actually put out a record out called Just Rhyming, and the B-side was Get Retarded, which were pretty dope. I actually liked it. I was actually surprised how good it was, and he only came out with one single. He was with EPMD, I think up until 91, I think. And then he left the group, whatever. Even though, like I said, he was an affiliate. So, and then he got with Bad Boy, Records, and then the rest is history. And I want to say one thing, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys would agree, some will disagree, but Craig Mack is Bad Boy Records. Let's get that straight. He is Bad Boy Records. Him, Easy Mo B, and Rashad Smith. Rashad Smith, dope producer. He's done stuff. He's worked with L. Cool J, Biggie, obviously. Rampage. He's worked with Rampage, Last Boy Scout. Craig Mack, obviously. A bunch of other people. The most notable songs I could tell you, the songs like One More Chance, the remix, the One More Chance Biggie remix. Rashad Smith did that. He did L. Cool J's Doing It. And you guys know that song originally was supposed to be for Biggie. That's why if you hear the song, throughout the whole song, it's called Go Brooklyn, Go Brooklyn. That was for Biggie, but Biggie passed on to it, and L. Cool J, did his thing on that joint. He's worked with Rampage, like I said, Rampage, the Last Boy Scout, Flipmode Squad, did a couple joints on that. On his first album that was supposed to come out in '94, called The Red October, he did a couple joints on that album. He's worked with a bunch of other people, man. He did the Loungin' joint. I think he did Loungin'. Yeah, the song Loungin'. I think the remix, the one with the I think it was the Bernard Wright sample. I forgot the sample, but he used that. But anyways, those three were, to me, the foundation of Bad Boy Records. I don't care what nobody says. Yes, you had Diddy and Biggie and, the Hitman, like Chucky Thompson and all that. But truth be told, man, like, when you think of Bad Boy Records, you automatically think of Flavor in Your Ear, Craig Mack, Easy Mo B, okay? I mean, you can't get more you can't get more Bad Boy than that. Rashad Smith, One More Chance. People love that song. You know what I mean? And a bunch of other stuff he's done for Bad Boy Records. To me, they were the sound of the true sound of Bad Boy Records. And I feel like that they don't get the proper just due and the proper respect that they deserve. And it's crazy to see Diddy saying like, "Oh, rest in peace to Craig Mack. Like you know, you pretty much started." I'm just paraphrasing what he says. Like, "Oh, you are like you started Bad Boy. Like you catapulted our careers, me and Big's career, and which is all good and dandy. But you could have said that when he was alive, not when he dies. And that's the sucker shit that I hate. Like you wasn't wrong. You wasn't fucking with him when he was alive. Like what's up with that? That shit is corny to me, man. And you know that nigga, he's an opportunist because there's an interview that's on you can check on YouTube was Biggie, Diddy, and Craig Mack, right? It had to be like late 90, around like 94, 95, right? And I think Fat Fire Freddy was doing the interview, and you know pretty much the interview was saying like how you know just asking like, yo, what's going on, what you working on. He was saying like, oh, Life After Death is supposed to be coming out. So obviously at that time, you know, Biggie's album came out, the Ready to Die album already came out at that time. Unless he was told about Ready to Die, 'cause he said the album's supposed to come out in September. But then he said that he's working on Life After Death. And then, you know, and he said that Craig Mack is supposed to be dropping a second album in January. It's supposed to drop in 1995, January 1995. And then if you look closely to Craig Mack's facial expression, like what the fuck? Like, the fuck is this nigga talking about? But he had to play it off. But then that right there just showed, like, you know, Diddy's fucking lying. He's just catapulting off Craig Mack's success. And that's corny shit to me, yo. That's corny shit, you know what I mean? And not to mention that Biggie didn't really fuck with Craig Mack like that. You know, you could see it, like, if you look at, like, pictures together with them two together, you can kind of see Biggie's face, like, man, I don't wanna fuck, what's this nigga fucking with me for? Like, you can see that in his face. And then there's an interview on YouTube. If you type in Biggie, Craig Mack, I heard it a while back, where it says that, you know, that he don't fuck with Craig Mack. I don't really fuck with Craig Mack like that. You know what I'm saying? I think he said some shit like that, but it was like, wow, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But not to mention that Craig Mack is responsible for your career. So if it wasn't for Craig Mack, you wouldn't be in the position that you are. So for him to say that was kind of callous on Biggie's part, you know. And I love Biggie. I fuck with Biggie. You know what I mean? But you know, I gotta call it for how I see it. You know what I mean? And I think most people won't do that. You know, and then, you know, Craig Mack dropped this album, classic album, I don't care what nobody says. You know, did well. You know, it went gold. But as you guys should know, Craig Mack was the first MC or the first artist on Bad Boy Records to go platinum. Okay? And, you know, I don't think people give Craig Mack his props for that. You know what I mean? And that's pretty sad because, you know, right after the album came out, you know, and it did, like I said, it did well, but people were only going for the songs like, you know, Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear was the biggest song from that whole album. I mean, that beat alone is very hypnotic. Like, people freestyle to that shit, all that good stuff, man. And on top of that, the remix had came out, and excuse me, sorry about that. The remix came out. And that song, the remix, I think came out like in late 94, early 95. So when that song came out, you know, I'm young. I'm like 7 going on to 8 years old. I'm thinking that was Biggie's song. But I didn't know Craig Mack, that was Craig Mack's song because I haven't heard the original. I've only heard the remix because they played the remix so much. And you would think that was Biggie's song, but for all these years I thought that. But then as I got older, it's like, oh, that's Craig Mack's song. And it's just, it's fucking crazy, man. So Craig Mack never dropped the second album that he was supposed to drop with Bad Boy Records, but he did drop an album eventually dropped a second album back in 1997. It was called Operation Get Down. It was kind of mediocre. It was kind of had a couple cool songs here and there, like the song "Jock in My Style." That was a dope song, but the rest of the album was kind of forgettable. I ain't gonna front with that, but I definitely need to get my hands on that. But it's out of print, and I could imagine it going for a lot of money. Especially with his death right now, which a lot of fucking people do. They try to lift money off of people's fucking death and shit like that. That shit is corny as fuck. But I'm just glad I bought this album when I did, which I'll get into in a little bit, how I got this album. It's a pretty cool story. I think you guys would appreciate it. And, he dropped the second album. It was okay, that kind of thing. It could have been better. And then he was supposed to drop an album back in 2006, I think? 2006, 2007. Because I think around 2002 he announced that he was working on the third album, but nothing came to fruition about it. Never dropped, and he said the reason why he left Bad Boy Records is because he didn't like the direction that it was going as far as like the movement, because he wasn't with the whole glitz and glamour. Even though on the second album it kind of had that glitz and glamour kind of vibe, but that's needless to say. He just wasn't feeling it, and then he tried to find himself, and he found himself in religion. And everybody should know he was in South Carolina for all these years. Since then, joined a religious cult, as it's a religious cult. And there's a video out on YouTube where the reverend of that ceremony asked, "What's your name, brother?" It's like Craig Mack. What did you do in the past? Wickedness. And, told about his music. And so that right there, that shows you, like, okay, that's where he was at with that. And it's crazy, too, because there's reports saying that his family, meaning, like, his wife and his kids, wasn't really with the whole movement, like, where he was doing with the whole cult. They wasn't really feeling that shit, but as a family, you're going to support the man in the house. That's just what it is, even though if you don't agree with it. But that's just numerous reports saying that, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, too, because Easy Mo B on IG was saying how he contacted Craig Mack and was saying, like, yo, what's up? And it's like, yo, the hip-hop game misses you, man. We need to put out another album. And, Craig Mack was like, nah, man, I don't really do mainstream music, man. That shit ain't for me. And, I'm not really doing secular music no more. So, Easy Mo was like, yo, that's cool, man. But, you can spit the religious lyrics and you can put my beats into it. So, spit over, the religious lyrics over my beats. Just something. And I know that shit would have been dope, especially with Easy Mo B's beats. So, Craig Mack was convinced. He was like, all right, cool. So Craig Mack was saying that how he sent them like 6 beats, and he hasn't heard from him since. He's called back to check up on him, see how he was doing. Never got a call back, so you got kind of worried. And I think 6 months before he passed away, he called Eric Sermon, and he called DJ Scratch, and he called Easy Mo B. And, he was saying, like, how, he has a couple months to live. And, I have, heart failure, congestive heart failure. I'm not going to last long. So I'm just calling you. This is, like, my goodbye kind of thing. Which is pretty sad, man. To see your boy, to hear somebody that you love saying that, let alone, like, your friend or even a family member or somebody you're close with saying that to you. That has to be very disheartening, man. To hear that, saying that they know they're going to die. Like, yo, dude, I love you. But I'm about to die, man. I have this disease. There's no cure for it. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself at that point, man. That's crazy. But man, rest in peace to Craig Mack. Also, rest in peace to Stephen Hawkins, who passed away I think yesterday, and rest in peace to Matt Dyke of Delicious Vinyl. He was the co-founder of Delicious Vinyl. He died the same day as Craig Mack, or I think the day before, the day after, or the same day. I don't remember. But how I got this album. Alright. On a lighter note. It was 2002. I was still living in Queens at the time. I was 15 years old. I went to Thomas Edison High School, 2001 going up to 2002. I was a freshman there. Thomas Edison High School in Jamaica, Queens. It was right next to Jamaica High School, which is no longer open. It's closed. They closed that school, I think, back in the mid-2000s. I think like 2006, 2007. Don't remember. It's been a while since that shit closed down. And not too from Hillcrest or Holcrest, or the locals will call it. All my people from Queens, y'all know what I'm talking about. Or even in the Five Boroughs, y'all know what I'm talking about with Holcrest. So it was 2002. I was 15 years old. You know, G-Dep had came out with the Child of the Ghetto album, very dope album, and he came out with the single Special Delivery. He first came out with the original, but then in 2002 he came out with the remix, and the video came out. Now, if you notice, the video of the remix was paying homage to the Flavor in Your Ear remix video. It was black and white, everybody's rapping, you had the kids, you know, doing the infamous bottle scene from the Warriors and stuff like that. So boom, you know, obviously you guys know it was G-Dep, Ghostface Killer, Keith Murray, and none other than late great Craig Mack. When I heard Craig Mack spit his verse, I was like, yo, this nigga shit was dope. To me, he had the best verse in the whole song. Everybody else did their thing, but Craig Mack's verse stood out to me so much that I was like, you know, I have to go find this nigga's album. So boom. So I looked all over Queens, you know, specifically like where I lived and stuff like that. So I went to the Ave. That's Jamaica Avenue for those of that don't know what the Ave is. The New Yorkers know what I'm talking about when I say the Ave. Went to the Ave. I went to Music Factory. They didn't have it. I went to Hot Wax. They didn't have it. Both stores, both defunct, unfortunately. They closed back in like 2005, 2006. Boom, right? So I went to Green Acres Mall in Valley Stream. Green Acres Mall, it's about between 7 to 10 minutes away from my old neighborhood in Springfield Gardens. So boom, I went to Green Acres Mall. I went to the FYE there when they used to have FYE. They don't have FYE no more over there. They didn't have it. I went to Circuit City. They didn't have it. Then I went to the Wiz. Everybody knows the Wiz. The Wiz was pretty much like an electronics store. It was kind of like a Best Buy, but like much smaller. So it was somewhat similar. It was like the New York. It was like the tri-state area version of Best Buy, but it's been there since like the 50s or 60s. But anyway, I went to that store. Finally got there. The Wiz was like, it was still in the Green Acres Mall vicinity, not too far from Toys R Us, right? So boom, got there. So I went downstairs because downstairs was where they had all the CDs. They sold all the music and stuff like that. I think upstairs was like more like the you know, refrigerators and, you know, cameras and all that good stuff. So boom, I go downstairs. Obviously I go to the rap section, and you know, I go to the C section to look for Craig Mack. Lo and behold, found this shit right here. $15.99. And at that time, you know, my mom used to give me lunch money, and she would give me like $5 each day. So that's $25 a week, right? So boom, there would be times I wouldn't eat lunch. I would just save my lunch money just to buy CDs. That's how I used to do. And this case was no different. So I had the money. It was like $15.99. I copped the album. It came out to like $16.53 or $16.36, some shit like that. I don't remember. It was like a long time ago when that came out. So boom, right? Got it. When I heard the album, I was like, oh my god, this shit is so ill. I'm so happy this album. I'm so glad I got the album. And at the time I had my Discman, the Walkman, like with the cassette tapes, but it was a Discman. And with the anti-skip. All my people know what I'm talking about. All my millennials know what I'm talking about. Yeah, even the OGs, y'all know what I'm talking about, that with the yeah, the anti-skip so it doesn't skip and shit like that. Them shits were expensive back in the day. And I popped that shit in. I was listening to the bus when I was on the Q85, going back to my old hood, listening to that shit. I was like, yo, this shit is ill. Oh my god. And I loved it since, man. So this is the copy that I bought, the album. This is the original pressing. It never got re-released, which is sad because Biggie's out. But again, it comes to show you Diddy's fucking pettiness. See, Ready to Die came out, it got re-released, and I think Life After Death got re-released too. This never did. What does that tell you? What does that fucking tell you? And it's crazy too because when I got out the Wiz, this was like the only copy the album came out that they had, because at the time it was very hard to come by, and I lucked out, got this album. It was all because of the special delivery remix. I made me want to go cop the album. So that was my story, man. Like I said, I want to say rest in peace to Craig Mack. My condolences to Eric Sermon, the EPMD family, DJ Scratch, PMD, his family, obviously. My condolences to Easy Mo B, cause I know you hurting right now. Rashad Smith, I know you hurting right now. Diddy, that's very questionable in my opinion. So, but thank you, Craig Mack, you know, for entertaining the people all these years. Even though I know you wasn't really fucking with secular music, but your secular music, in my opinion, well, I'm not even gonna call it secular music. Your music definitely is timeless, and your legacy will live on, brother. All right, peace.